Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about your pitch night. So you're going to do a bit of a practice pitch, as well as I'll take you through a bit of a trick or two about advertising. As a kid, everyone is born to negotiate. And I'm sure you are all a great negotiator and you're continuing the legacy. Everyone has got the ability to be able to negotiate and be able to sell. Advertising is something we'll learn in time. So tonight we'll talk a bit about advertising. So use great copy in terms of advertising. A lot of you guys are on social media. You write copy, writing stories is part of your life. You are entrepreneurs. You continue to write things. What is great copy? A copy is nice and short and very clear. I would like to connect that with single-minded proposition. So in advertising, we learn about single-minded proposition because sometimes when we think, an idea goes in various directions. But we need to bring those ideas into one funnel so we can pitch to the client clearly. We don't want to confuse the people. This is very important. So a single-minded proposition is the most important aspect of working on ideas. So you may have 10 different ideas, you map it out, always try to draw. So as you work with your pen, you start to be creative, you keep on drawing, so you have a bit of a written thing as well, and continue to map until you find your single idea. In terms of copy, you should be nice and short. There are some very fine ad campaigns out there. One of the ad, I would like to ask a question. So in terms of tagline, give us some of the best taglines that you guys have ever heard of. I could start with Nike's Just Do It. 3-word, a nice swoosh, just a simple logo and a beautiful tagline.
Johnny Walker, keep walking.
Keep walking. That's a good one.
It should have at the end, keep walking if you can.
Yes, exactly. If you're not too intoxicated. Anyone else?
It's Coca-Cola, I think, celebrating life. One of the smartest campaign that I've seen because they don't sell Coke, they sell happiness.
Exactly. What about Apple? Go on.
McDonald's.
Can't hear you clearly. Sorry. Go louder.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happiness. What is it?
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. Yeah. And I love Apple's ad. The genius. Have you guys seen that one? If only I could play that, but I'll share that with you later on. Anyone else with?
Good.
You go.
I was just going to say one of the best ones I ever saw was when Apple used to do the commercials with the cool hip guy from Apple and the nerdy guy from Microsoft, making the comparisons between the two computers.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the initial
very
ad
subtle,
of Apple.
Not very subtle, I should say, but very effective.
Yeah, that was the initial ad of Apple. Yeah, that was a very good one. And I loved the initial ad of Apple where a bunch of people are watching those. Yeah, Think Different, where a bunch of people are watching the big screen, which was supposed to replicate IBM users. And here comes, a rebel from Apple, with the sledgehammer. That was such a massive ad, and breaks that screen. So that was the beginning of Apple. It was a brilliant idea. If no further ideas, we'll go to writing emails. Offer like a press release. Speaking of press release, have you guys written press release? Has anyone done that before?
I have.
Yeah. How do you write it?
So it's press release has a few. I mean, you've got the description, you've got the headline, then you've got the plot description, then you've got the sub description. So what essentially what I have followed personally in writing a press release is your tagline, as we were talking about, is closest to what your headline will be, and then in the first few lines as well, the basic questions that you're trying to answer is what, where, when, and how. I usually write press releases for events, so that's the format I follow, the WWWH.
Yeah. So top bit with the most important thing, you're sending out press releases to the newspapers, very busy people, etc. They would have 2 or 3 seconds to look at your piece, and then after, these days people hardly have concentration power, and then after people are so busy on top of things, they're not going to actually get the actual information which you may have put in your piece in the third paragraph. So in the press release, you put the most important information on top, and then after it follows through. And if they were to copy paste, they will just take things from top. So that's how we do that.
Kumar, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
So when do you use press releases, and who do you actually send them to? Like, do you use them for events or to announcements? Or, I'm just trying to think of my situation. Not always clear when to use a press release, and also where do you send them?
You would send them to media. So, first and foremost. And then after, even if you're writing every piece, really, unless you're writing a story. So on your social media, when you're writing, and people have got so many things to scroll through on their Facebook and LinkedIn, your first 2 or 3 sentences grab the attention, right? On LinkedIn, if you have a big post or post with a picture, it just shows 2 or 3 lines in the beginning, and then after it's covered by the picture. Or even if it's all text, it only shows 3 lines. What it means is you have to put the best lines in front, and that will grab the attention or lose your audience. So anything from your general day-to-day writing to the most important thing is either you're writing to a brand for sponsorship, or you're actually writing to a press for them to cover your event or anything you would like. So important occasions to a non-important occasion, I would say. There's no room to write fluff. There's no room to write kind of daggy sentences, because everything you do, every piece of graphic that you post on your social media, every line that you write, that is your brand identity. So I must say that your communication should be nice and sharp. I hated those kind of those marketing campaigns, which has got those daggy graphics. I don't know if I have anything to show you right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Some of the basic graphics. I would say not to use them, and just use your creativity. My strength lies in writing creative sentences. So use your creativity. Everyone is creative enough to be able to craft the story. Don't make it a full essay or something, because, as I said, people don't have time to go through a lot of things. If you're writing a proposal, you could draft, a page or 2 to be able to explain that, still keeping in mind that, people won't have so much time. And especially you're writing a proposal once you are asked for it. In terms of cold calling, you'll have to be nice and short and sharp at the same time. And you don't write a full story, because they're just going to delete that. The moment they open and here comes your A4 size, letter with all the detail, they'll just delete that. You can ask for a chance to be able to write, to be able to pitch to them. This initial conversation would be just about who you are, what your main product or services are, and whether or not they are interested into talking further. So key points, like a press release, you can point it forward and see if they're interested to know more. Does that make sense? And of course, be creative with ideas and execution. I won't be able to, clarify how to be creative. I love to come up with nice copy, like, things that rhyme as well. Just some weeks ago, we did our new logo for Mardi Gras, and I came up with that poem, something that rhymed. It was just a tiny bit, but, you can be creative at times. You can be writing some of the fun copy, or, just poetic, sky's the limit. You can be as open and, as constructive and creative as you like. Never use cheap graphics, which I mentioned. Your business has a visual element, and it just destroys the brand. So anytime you communicate, you make sure that your communication's up to the mark, or don't communicate. You don't need to communicate on a daily basis. A lot of those marketeers tell you, communicate every day on Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. So that keeps your level up. But if you're going to bore them up with, some sort of, whatever text or graphics, they're just going to unfollow you, or just block you. So talk when you have something solid to talk. Write when you have something substantial to write. Spend wisely. When you're a new organization, when you're a small organization, of course, you got to spend wisely. Keeping the cost low. When I was running the ad agency before, whatever number of years ago, it was a small organization and I didn't have so much money. So I hired lots of contractors and freelancers, and I made a team of 50 people. Once again, this time in Opportunities Australia, we have a team of 50 people, and they're all volunteers. So there's a way to manage the cost there. If you don't have to have an office, don't have an office. These days, bricks and mortar doesn't really matter. A lot of these meetings are happening on Zoom. Try to save your cost, because the more money you're going to keep, the longer you're going to survive. Startup is a survival mode, really, unless you give, over 50%, 90% equity to someone else and, get some of their money. And, then later on, they're going to control your organization. Choice is yours. A lot of people do that, but I try not to. Do your research about everything. The people you're going to meet, the topic that you're going to write about, anything. The area that you're going to work in. Say, for example, I don't know, if I was going to work in not-for-profit, I had to do all the research about all the competitors and all the laws, all the rules and regulations, all the marketing campaigns that some of the other not-for-profits get to run. What grants do they get to have? That's an important one. What grants do they get to have? So we can also apply for it, and so on. So, keep doing your research. Leave no stones unturned, right? And I literally mean that. So there would be so much work to do as you're entering into your line of work. Always know your competition. And if you could work with your competition, do some sort of partnership, always great to make friends than enemies. There's so much money, there's so much work out there. So why make an enemy when you can make a friend? Just think about that. I make lots of friends, of course, in the journey. Some people might not be happy with your journey. So, you can't help that. But try to befriend people in your journey. And even if they're offering the same thing, there isn't, too much competition. So know your target and audience when you're doing your research. You got to know, you find out as much as possible, and connect social media metrics with return on investment. You would be able to do that. So, it's the back end thing. Does anyone do that? So I take this as a no, but you guys could do that, and leverage Facebook. leverage, all the other social media as well. Integrate all marketing channels. So, anytime you're posting something, just go on to all the social medias. So in that way, you are sending out one piece of information on all the channels at the same time. So yeah, that works. LinkedIn. I made my brand on LinkedIn. So there are a few things that I could think of in terms of helping you making your brand or working with you. How do you tell your story? So I have been talking about telling your story. You write a full essay, or you write nice and short things. What do you write? How do you work? These days, people have been saying that if you divide your whole story into multiple paragraphs, etc., after first line, make a go to the second paragraph just after in the first line. So LinkedIn algorithm tries to take that positively, etc. There are so many things that that people try to tell you. And then I see some of the senior influencers, etc. They have all of their lines combined. They don't go for second paragraph. So I would say, okay, they have built up the brand. They don't have to go through all that. But LinkedIn has got a particular way of running a thing. Also, it's got one thing is as your post goes online, if people start to engage with it and like it, then LinkedIn takes that a bit seriously, and it sends out to more followers of yours. So it's up to you. Some people try to tag others. I don't do that, but try to make your post as engaging as possible. So people would come around and do that. And in that way, your post gets as much attraction, as much attention as possible. And how often you use it? I mean, as I've already talked about it. So if you use it often enough, whenever you have your story, so you have to be just creative to be able to continue churning up stories. That gets a bit tricky, but that keeps you on your toes. Do you use your profile picture option to put a video introduction? How many of you guys have done that? Anyone?
Not on LinkedIn, but definitely yes on Facebook.
All right. Anyone on LinkedIn? It gives you an option to do it for 30 seconds or so.
I didn't know you could do that, actually. Is that with where you upload your profile picture, is it?
Exactly, yeah.
That's a good idea.
I have not done that yet, but I have seen multiple people doing that.
There's also that name function, so you can say your name on LinkedIn.
Exactly, yeah.
And then people can press on it and understand it. That's something I need to get onto.
Absolutely. But I would say, go one step ahead of that. That name function has come long time ago, and now they have come up with a full video. So in that video, you can be nice and strong, and this is your chance to sell. So that's your elevator pitch right there. 30 seconds to be able to sell yourself. You can do as many takes as possible. Once, you are okay with that, just put it out there. I think that'd be pretty good. So probably if, by the end of this course, if you guys have that, well, that'd be good to see. So that's one step ahead towards, getting a VC. I'll talk to you about a new VC. Okay. Another thing is your URL tailored to your name? How many of you have tailored your URL? I suppose half of you guys have tailored your URL.
Could you explain that, sorry? So you have to go in there and could you explain that?
Yeah, so tailoring URL is like linkedin.com and then / you can tailor that. So in the settings, it does allow you to do it to your name. So, you could do Sahara, your full name.
Oh, I think I've got that actually.
Yeah. So mine is Kumaja42. Kumaja, it was taken. So that makes your profile look good because, all those numbers, etc. At times you were to share your profile with others. So that, and then hashtags. These days, LinkedIn allows you to put in hashtag to your profiles. So in that way, it puts you into a category like, of specialization. Have any of you done that? So it's something new that you guys could do. I mean, not as new really. I would have done that probably a month or two ago or more actually.
Yeah, I've done hashtag and I do have my profile as Bobby Phillips.
All right, great. Company page, have you guys set up your company page and doing all those? So you guys could start to do the company page. There's a bit of a basic, as much information as you require there. And who do you connect with? Do you use a personal note? So it's always great to be able to send out a personal note. So you would only be able to do that from your computer rather than mobile phone. So I would suggest sending out a personal note, of course. And do you act business-like or humanly? I know LinkedIn is there to do business, but I definitely, of course, you would understand that. Me running a charity, people come and talk to myself or to you. If you are acting, if you're extending more than just a business connection, if you are actually caring for the people in the conversations. Either in writing or when you go about and meet a person, you have to establish a personal relationship before you get to put forward your brand. Even though your brand is not perfect, if you have established a nice relationship, of course they're going to go ahead with your brand. So it's about acting more humanly and be as kind as possible. To be able to establish a relationship. And that could be a lifelong relationship. I have made lots of friends out of LinkedIn. I hang out with them, besides doing business with them. So you could always extend onto the relationship. And, my last point was, are you persistent or pushy? It's the communication, how you keep your communication. There's very fine line there, how you maintain your communication. How many times is too many times in terms of communication. From my very first job, working for a 5-star hotel, where I had to convert some of the hotel's clients into a member of our club, where they could avail the dining discounts or the holidays, etc. But I would leave that up to you. But there's just a fine line there. As I mentioned, that collaborating with other service providers in your area, it would be good. So I have gone ahead and collaborated with as many organizations as possible, like Winnie's and Oz Harvest or Wayside Chapel, Tribal Warrior. I work with USW. So as many organizations as possible. And life becomes much more funner when you are in the process of building up your clientele. And your organization, you go and do some partnerships with them. So that does work in your favor. Sales. It is the only way to let the world know what you have to offer. A silent but a highly skillful person will get no attention, but one who can talk and explain his skills, even limited, will capture the attention of his target and win the deal. So you do have to explain what you're on, what your business is all about, and if you do that in a nice, succinct way, in a very polite way, in a more business-like way, etc. So all those professionalism, you have to be able to convey your message in the best format. It helps building relationships, as I mentioned, that if done without being overly pushy, sales can and do help building relationship, both personal and professional. And as I mentioned, I have converted a lot of those business relationship into friendship. So yeah, it's totally up to you, and it helps build credibility, of course. If you're doing your business right, and if you have got all the nice communications to back you up, of course, that's going to build up your brand. As your brand gets built up, your name gets built. So, next time that person, say, for example, that person's name is Michelle. Next time Michelle is talking about, say, I don't know, for a not-for-profit that talks about education, well, she's going to mention about Opportunities Australia. And the more Michelle talks about Opportunities Australia over and over again to her network, that builds up a credibility. And if this person has heard from the likes of Michelle and Tom and Harry, etc., then it builds up a thinking in their mind. It's okay, well, I have heard about this organization from so many people. There must be something they would be doing right. Why not I go and work with them, talk to them to begin with? So, and it's all part of sales. Some people look at sales in a different way. As I don't like sales, but everything is sales. It depends how you do it. Apple also sells its products, and then a small hawker also sells their product. So depending how well you communicate your messages, I think that's the key. And in terms of a sales process, the whole procedure, I would like to take the example of Apple Store. When you go to the Apple Store, they showcase their products to you. They sit in the background and they let you play with the products. They let you fall in love with the products. They don't go and try to put anything on your face, etc. They don't try to be pushy at all. So this is pull tactic rather than push tactic. So, allowing people to observe, allowing people to fall in love with your product or service, and then after, get them to ask question. When they ask question, whatever question they're asking, just try to tap into that rather than talking the whole thing. So whatever particular thing that they're interested in, start talking from there. And if they are not ready at that time, you can continue your conversation. In one of my first jobs, they talked about, continue painting your picture. If they're not ready, like you take your conversation. Maybe your customer won't be ready in the first week or first month or even the first year. Now it's your choice to be able to continue the relationship or just to let go. I would say continue the relationship, speak to them in a quarter, see how they're going. You don't even have to talk about your product. So yeah, these are the 3 ways you would be able to get some help with your sales. The art of selling, use an authoritative tone with the gatekeeper. So the lots of gatekeepers. In the beginning, when I was working for the hotel, I used to call up some of the senior people, CEOs, etc., from multinationals, and they are always a gatekeeper. Even gatekeepers now as well. Today, I spoke to a senior CEO, or I called one of the senior CEO's office, and there was an EA, that's a gatekeeper. So, you have to use your tone. You have to, keep your confidence up, and then explain it to them. So, keep your authoritative tone. Tell them who you are, and tell them why you want to talk to them, and you get a brownie point. If the CEO is already expecting your call or so, or if they know about you, you have previously communicated with them, you can give that reference. So, and if you manage to go to the CEO, get to the next level, use the same tone in the meeting as well. Have this thing in your mind as you have nothing to lose. There would be several other businesses like them that you could have in your life. Say, for example, say, for example, a financial organization like the Bank of Sydney. I would like to use a smaller mid-sized brand in terms of banking. So I have secured a meeting with the Bank of Sydney, and I don't have don't have high expectations. So go to a meeting with not so much expectation. Create a friendship first. So try to have a nice and relaxed conversation, etc., and see how they like you. I mean, they should have all the information about your brand before they are meeting you. So send out everything that you had to send out, and then you have to do your research on them as well. So understand everything about their businesses. They like it. They love it. They love it when you know ins and outs of their businesses and some of the past details. From the beginning of the organization, like when the organization was founded, who was the CEO, who was the founder, what's the location, anything that you have researched. They like that. I have gotten this comment from a few meetings, from a few businesses that, okay, you've done your research. So yeah, and you just continue on with your conversation, and you don't have to be, once again, pushy, etc. You just convey your message and see what they would like. If they would be ready, then well and good. Otherwise, the conversation continues, and you can follow up in a month or however it goes. You are the expert. So when you're dealing with a brand, you're doing your research about your product, and you start to get all the information about your product. So you are the expert. Even if you have worked with your brand for your product or service for a month or two, you have a full understanding of things. So yeah, you have to use your tone in that way, and people need to feel understood. So this is interesting. And the example over here is, prior to any meeting, you'll go through as much information as possible. So someone had a bit of a health issue, and just like going to a doctor, the doctor is going to check all the details on the patient, and once this person is having a bit of an issue, and having eating disorder, etc., having fast food. So the doctor has done the research, and they have found out that this patient does need a surgery. But the doctor has to be able to convince this patient, ask all the right questions to take the patient to that, the point B that the doctor wanted to take them. The doctor can't say okay, so you have got these many issues, so, I'm going to take you to a surgery. The patient would say, no, I don't like you. I don't believe you. So the doctor has to ask all the right questions to be able to make this person understood that, okay, this is what the person needs. And the person should suggest it by themselves rather than the doctor should be, just clearly notifying. So there's a way of communication there. The art of selling, have an amazing product or service, goes without saying. So every day that you spend on your product, on your brand, you just have to keep on making it perfect. I love the movie The Last Samurai, in which those samurai fighters, they sharpen up their sword, right? So you have to keep on working on your product every day. Just keep on tweaking until it gets perfect. And then after, keep on tweaking it again, because there's always, you can make new amendments to your product and service. So there's never a full stop there. Ford vehicle, right? They came up with a car and they forgot to put in the reverse gear, or they didn't, they missed out. So there's always room for development. And of course, build confidence in yourself. Without confidence, no matter how much if you go into a meeting and if you are lacking in confidence, people don't like that. People don't believe you. And it's the contrary. It's like you have a lot of confidence and your product is not so good, people would believe you. But just imagine if your product is good, and then after you are feeling fully confident, that brings the magic. Tell a convincing story. The best way to sell yourself is to tell a story. So people like a story. People like to hear your story. But not just any story. An author and leadership, Simon Sinek. Have you guys heard of Simon Sinek or seen Simon's videos?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you guys like to tell me what you like about Simon? What are some of the lines that you remember?
People buy emotionally, not rationally or logically. They have to have an emotional connection with what you're selling.
Yeah. Anyone else? This very popular line of Simon Sinek is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So
he created that why, how, not he created, but he defined it in a...
Yeah, absolutely. And this is amazing. So people do gravitate towards why you do certain thing rather than what you do. I mean, your business might be to, I don't know, sell banking products or something, but people might not be interested. People would not be interested into just the final products. They would have to understand. If you tell like, okay, so I would like to simplify the banking process I would like to simplify your life rather, so from your own comfort, say for example, this is a product Xero, right? So from your own comfort, from your thing, Xero would be able to look after all those necessity things of parts of your life. So you'd be able to go to your family and spend quality time. So why worry about doing small work and a lot of it when an app would be able to do that? This product would be able to do that. So you can buy in time for your family. So that's a good way of explaining things. I do remember in one of Simon's interview, he was talking about a remote control that someone came up with for whatever the app was. So this thing could, I think that was an app. This thing could rewind programs, and then after you stop the programs, and a whole shebang that we have now in iView, like ABC iView and several other. It's all the online thing. So when the first product came and the company tried to pitch it like this, okay, we have a product that does this. People say, no, we don't believe you. We don't like you, and we are not going to buy that. And instead, Simon was saying that, okay, if they reverse the cycle, if they reverse the pitch, like, okay, if you are the person who likes to, stop your TV at any point in time, rewind the TV whenever you like, and watch it whenever you like, boy, I have a product for you. How would you like that? So there are ways of selling, and you have to do it just the right way. So emotions and the comfort. You don't just come up with the product. You create a product to people's liking, what their desires are. You do your market research, etc., and then you come up with the product to satisfy or to fill in the gap, satisfy public and to fill in the gap. If your product doesn't fit in somewhere, well, your product doesn't quite belong. So you have to do your market research and just fill in that gap. And when you were to sell that, you talk about the gap. Why you do it? Because you saw that gap. Can I hear from anyone? How this why story? Sahira, Tawfiq, Poppy.
Yeah, from my perspective, this is what I understood. Like, you need to have a very strong why before you start something. As long as like your why is strong, rest everything happens. Don't worry about the how part. You need to next focus on the what, and the how will happen.
Absolutely.
In a nutshell.
And I'll just extend what Bobby just said, is that once when I was groomed, I was being trained to be a salesman. It was an interesting analogy what my trainer said, that he asked an open question. When was the last time you bought your last shirt or your trouser or your piece of clothing that you love because it was having a certain number of thread count, or it was because it was a certain make, or it was a certain price, or it was something else? And that something else is usually how that particular product made you feel. How did you see yourself when you were wearing that? So as Bobby said, that it is the why that is always the important. Why you buy a shirt in pragmatism is to cover your body, but why you buy a piece of clothing is basically, and in the human context, is because how it makes you feel. So the practical requirement of a product and the reason for buying cannot necessarily align. But if you are in the selling business, you have to look at the reason of buying, not the utility of it. So it's always, in a nutshell, it's basically always sell the benefits, don't sell the features.
Exactly. Anyone else? Next point is cut the fluff. You just have to be as realistic as possible, and just tell the real story. What does Albert Einstein say? How you should discuss your product or service. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you probably don't understand it yourself. So consider your clients a 6-year-old. And that's a brilliant point. People do the pub test over here in Australia. You go to a pub and then have to share your brand story with your drunk mates or, semi-drunk. And if they get it, then it's good, and they are acting like 6-year-old, at that stage when they're drinking. So yeah, it has to be nice and simple to be able to be understood. Maybe in the back, things could be a little bit complex. That's the back end, but in the front end, things has to be very simple so people could understand that. So yeah, remember that. Qualities do leaders press that makes them master sellers? Confidence, as we talked about. Commitment. Well, commitment is so crucial. Being a startup, you would have to have a lot of commitment. You would have to work, you'd have to work 7 days a week, and you won't be working 9 to 5. And a lot of you who would have another job on the side, and you have started something of your own. Well, this is going to be a good, interesting journey. So be ready for that. But it's an amazing journey, right? Integrity. Leaders possess strengths of characters and maintain honesty with all stakeholders, organization, employees. So integrity is so important. You got to maintain integrity when even no one is watching, and that's how you maintain that. Whether it's driving or anything, conversations, etc. You can't have different levels of communication, or because it does get found out. So why would you bring your level down to begin with? Above par soft skills. Okay, so leaders know how to treat people nicely, with full professionalism and care. I met with a lot of senior leaders, and they really enlighten your day, with a big smile and great handshake. Sometimes people give you a hug. Whichever way they try to make you feel nice and comfortable, they know that, right? They know how to deal with their clients. They know how to deal with the employees, and so on. They even know how to deal with a cleaner. I remember Barack Obama giving a cleaner a high five, and I saw that in some news or so. They even salute to just a guard, and that shows integrity. That shows respect. So if you could follow through, the same kind of respect for everyone, that's easier to do rather than, just changing your style all the time. And especially in communication, there are different kind of positions that people get to maintain on your LinkedIn or anywhere. And if you start to treat people differently, it's not a good thing. So, yeah. Continuous learners. Well, leaders do continue to learn. I mean, every day you got something to learn. A day goes without learning is a day wasted. So, you got to learn every day and about your field as well. And besides your field, there's a lot of things that are happening around the world. When you go into those meetings with these senior people and you're having those kind of light conversations, you got to be able to talk about different things, right? So, yeah, you got to be able to learn what is happening around you. And then you are target oriented. Leaders are very target oriented. They plan and execute as per the plan. So yeah, you don't do random things. You do plan. You might have your company plan, your yearly plan, and then after your monthly plan, and you would have your goals. What sort of companies that you're going to work with, all those mapped out, and you do execute that one by one. So it's okay to do, last minute decisions on things, but a planned execution is most likely the best execution. Good listeners, well, it's amazing, how the listening goes these days. But you got to be a great listener. When you go into meetings, try to speak less and listen more, because a lot of information you can get out of listening, and that you can use to tailor your products or services to pitch to these people. If you go into a meeting of half an hour, majority of these people give you half an hour meeting. And in that, if all you're doing is, passionately trying to pitch your thing, and you didn't hear from the people, they might want to say something to add in, or they might wanted another service, but you were thinking the client was looking for X and the client actually was looking for Y, and they're trying to tell you that, but you're not in a mood to listen. So always be a great listener. Good communicator, goes without saying. You have to be a fantastic communicator. Body language is a whole area, right? And speaking of body language, Amy Cuddy is the best body language expert that teaches at Harvard. So if you'd like to take a note and listen from her, that'd be good. Has anyone followed Amy Cuddy? Heard from? No. Amy Cuddy is very good, and
I haven't learned from Amy Cuddy, but I do have a few books about the body languages and how it can be used for our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember those positive body languages. Did you guys remember the Wonder Woman standing pose? Hips on the hand, etc. It's a great pose, but depending where you're standing. So open stance is very good, holding your ground. That shows confidence, not crossing your arms. That means you are open to learning. Leaning forward is like you're listening to someone, interested in someone. If you're leaning back, that's the opposite. So when you're in the meetings, when you're trying to imitate people, if a person has got their hands on the cheek, well, if you do that, so then they get comfortable. So if you try to imitate that, too much body language is no good. So try to, control your hand movements and head movements. Us Indians come with a lot of head movements too. So we confuse people over here. Less body movement. If you can manage, that'd be good. I have sat in front of some very successful people and well-attained, well-achieved people, and these people were very nice and still. You don't put your mobile phone on the table when you're on a meeting, because if you do that, you are telling the people that your phone is important and you can receive any calls. Well, that's distracting, but you're just telling a message to the person that your mobile is important. The person sitting in front is not that important. No matter who these people are sitting in front of you, even if they are friends, these days time is critical. Time is crucial. We don't have so much time. So when we are sitting in front of people, try not to just put your mobile on the table and then after you get your mobile to ring, and it would be rude to be able to pick up the call So I'll leave those things with you. But yeah, I mean, crossing the legs here in terms of body language. Well, yeah, any part of body crossing is like you're closing yourself to communication. So yeah, as open as you are with your body, that's better. Open gesture, open arms. If you are doing a speech or something, and the grand gestures are made like this, arms open, and your legs you've got a wider stance, etc. So use that carefully. Problem solvers, leaders are, of course. They don't just mention a problem; they solve a problem by complaining less. Yeah, they are not much of a complainer, but they are a doer, and then after they continue to solve problems. Product and market knowledge. You have to have the full understanding of your product and knowledge, and yeah, and then you execute that way. There are two main differences. In a leader, all the above mentioned qualities are fully cultivated. And it is not just the qualities, but also how they use the techniques make the difference. So along with these techniques, a leader also uses certain sales techniques that sets them apart from the rest. This is the nuances of communication, the great soft skills, etc. You got to be at par with your communication skills, etc. And that's what some of these leaders have. So a great greeting, keeping your mobile devices away, be open, having an open body, like, open arms, etc., not crossing your legs, etc., leaning in front, all those things, whatever you could maintain to be able to have a positive impact on the people and be able to win the deal, if possible, without being too, too silly. So what are these techniques? In all, there are 4 types of selling: transaction-based selling, relationship-based selling, diagnostic selling, and conviction-based selling. The first 3 types of selling are based on either data accompanied by certain tools and techniques, personal relationship based on trust, or time. By using all these factors to our advantage, we try to push the product in the market, which at times results in forced sales, which I was talking to you about. Leaders stay away from the forced sale and they try to do the pull effect, which I was talking to you about Apple before. So when you go, as I was saying, that when you go into an Apple store, they try to attract you with all the qualities they have about the products and the customer service as well. I love the customer service of Apple Store. Anytime you go there, I mean, they're just brilliant, and they are so professional. They're very social and always ready to help, and they have an eye for detail, and then they have an eye of customer service as well. So they're not out there chit-chatting and ignoring you. They're out there observing you, and whenever you're looking out for help, they are there. While you're there trying to get to know the perks, etc., they might be standing in the background. They would be staying in the background, and they are watching you. Anytime you need something, you just raise your hand and they're there. Unlike some of the other stores, and I could mention stores like, say, David Jones, or, some other big retail stores. Sometimes it takes 10-15 minutes to be able to get some assistance, while there could be people chit-chatting right in front of you. So yeah, don't be like that. You're an entrepreneur and you've got to be able to satisfy people, with your customer service. And I didn't talk so much about customer service, but it's so important, and that sets you apart from your competition, right? So you got to have at par, you got to have perfect communication skill and perfect customer service skill. You have to go above and beyond to be able to serve your customers, to be able to retain them. Firstly, win them and then retain them, because of all the competition, etc. Tolerance level varies too. So yeah, and this is what the leaders use, is a pull effect. So, there's so much magic in that. And creating a demand for his expertise, skills, services, and product that he's associated with. And this can easily be explained with the following. There are many computer mobile brands, but when asked to recall the name, only one, and mind you, Apple hasn't paid me, but I just love Apple brand and their customer service. So yeah, and I'm sure you guys like it too.
I just wanted to ask a question. Actually, more of a comment, I think.
Yeah.
I've always been in the service-based industry rather than product-based. And I found the selling was quite different, and the clarity and articulation of the service, almost so that I started to develop products within the service because I felt it was so much easier to sell a product in the end. So whilst, now I sell leadership and I sell mentoring, but I've had to design programs to get the attention in the first place. I just felt opening the door with a product, even though I was actually selling a service, was very helpful, because for many years, while I was doing all right, it was just very difficult on social media, and when you're actually selling, and people would say, "What are you selling?" I could sell leadership. What does that mean? So I had to really articulate it very clearly, and I could only do that really through a product. It helped me anyway. So yeah, it's just that whole conundrum between service and product.
Absolutely. And you have to tailor your pitch accordingly, right? So when you don't have a product to offer, they would try to understand, okay, so what's this service? Map it out for me, please explain. Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone else have any comment or question?
Yeah, someone taught me once that selling is an art, and it's like peeling the onion.
Yeah.
So you got to go to the vulnerable side of why exactly. If they are, so this is a combination of the body techniques, as well as trying to understand why they are not buying a product. And once they become vulnerable, that is when you got to make them believe that you are the solution to their problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the confidence, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But you should be also sharp to understand whether they are a time waster for you, and you should move out.
Yeah, absolutely. You should be able to qualify that, and that's a very important point. Is qualifying in the beginning stages,
Right.
How much interest they have, whether or not they are able to buy your products or service, or what they are there for. So you'd be able to set up questionnaires to be able to qualify people. So you could ask those questions, engage into those kind of conversations to be able to qualify people, and then you could talk to them accordingly. So yeah, that'd be useful. Any other comment? So using these techniques, leaders create a need for what they have to offer, demonstrate its use, communicate an availability, and provide a consistent quality service or product to acquire credibility, which leads to word of mouth promotion, which I was talking to you about earlier, and ultimately generates demand in the market. No overt selling. So just keep on doing it right, and that would create your brand out there in the market. Just doing all those things, as efficiently as possible, without trying too hard, actually. Leaders understand the importance of word of mouth reference, which in turn is based on long-term, consistent, and quality performance. They concentrate on performing or getting the deliverables right and leave the selling to the consumers. So once again, they concentrate on performing and getting the deliverables right. So you got to have the right formula out there. And as long as you're following that, then you're okay. Then the product sells. So you just have to figure that out for yourself. Consumers sell the experience of associating with the person and the satisfaction of using a service or product to others who are based on the feedback demand for the person's time, skill, and service or product. This is how great leaders sell, not by selling, but by persuading people to demand. And which takes it back to the example of Apple. There'd be several other brands out there. Would you guys like to give us an example of any of the brand out there who you really enjoy besides my single brand here?
I think I was going to give an example of Amazon myself.
Sense to quite a few people who don't come from a South Asian background, but one of the brands that I usually vouch for coming from India is Tata's, because Tata's over the past 200 years have essentially made sure that reliability and credibility is something that they always keep forward. And at the end of the day, their products are to change the lives of people. And that is something which has been, and I mean, I've had the fortune of being a part of Tata's workforce for a brief moment when I was interning as well. So the moment of truth, as we've discussed in the previous ones, has also come through as well. They care for the employees also to the point that they actually say this: unless you're not stealing stuff from the hotels, we will not fire you no matter how bad you perform. So that's the kind of confidence that they have in the people that they work with, the people that they serve. And that's essentially one of the reasons that I do love the brand Tata, which I mean, for those who don't know, I do sincerely encourage that go and have a look at what the history of Tata's is. It is a brand which is built by reputation than profits.
Absolutely. I love Tata as well. Any other brands that you guys want to talk about and why you like them?
Yeah, I was just going to say Amazon. Amazon is one of the brands, like, of course, that's e-commerce. I think they have been able to break that notion of buying anything online. You could land up with something dodgy stuff, or you could probably not even receive your order. But I think they have, actually break that wall. And then now they have made customers believe in them, as in you order anything from Amazon, and if you're not happy, you get your refund, be it a third-party seller or it's coming from the Amazon itself. So I think that trust is something which has made me believe in Amazon so much that I always shop on Amazon. At the same time, and I've also seen that as an employee of Amazon, their tagline is work hard, have fun, make history. And they have actually made that possible by giving us as many as opportunities, as many as programs you want to run within the company and try something new. And they have a policy of two-door decision. If you want to try something new and you feel, whether or not I should really proceed, they say, okay, you just go ahead, implement this. If it doesn't work, you just come back from that door. So it's kind of two-door. You just open it, go there, see if things are good, they're working, stay there. No, okay, just come back. So that's the way they run their entire business. So I'm really fascinated with this brand, Amazon.
Absolutely. Anyone else with another example?
I don't have anything elaborate, but I really love Kmart. Kmart just makes you feel like you can afford anything, that you're not forgotten, I guess, in the world. And, unless you see the brand, you can get away with looking expensive somewhat. And also their stationery. I love that stuff, and their diaries and whatnot. So it just makes you feel, the whole brand just makes you feel like it's inviting to everyone. Like there's no man left behind type thing, except for, probably the sweatshops and the slave labor and all that jazz that comes along with it. But yeah.
Absolutely. I love Kmart. I have purchased a lot of things from there. Designs are pretty good. And yeah, it's just that what happens in the background, that's another story, indeed. So, this was the end of the slide, but I would like to, I just kept it nice and short so we can do a little bit of a practice, pitch practicing. And, as I said, have fun. Here I am with my first motorbike. When I was 12 or something, I could ride that without a helmet because, there weren't much law and order there. At that time, it was in a coal mine. And this is me a couple of years ago in the snowy mountains in winter. I went camping, actually. That was fantastic. And this is Northern Light in Iceland. So, and singing is one of my hobbies. So, while you're out there chasing your big bucks and dreams, don't forget to just take a bit of a, time off and just do what you love, and that will energize you. And so you'd be able to do your things better, right? So on that note, I would like to hear from you guys. Who would like to go first about the pitch? Let's see what you guys have to offer. I can see Adong Wood, on my screen. So let me go just, whoever I can see on the screen. This is just a practice one. So
close your eyes, and feel you're in shower.
The memories, the words aren't flowing like it does in the shower. But so my whole business is around my name. This is not the pitch part. This is just the background context. Yeah, my whole business, my whole brand is my name. And so I always like to tell a story about my name because that's what's inspired me to start what it is that I'm doing. So I would start off with, how many of you guys have felt really awkward that you couldn't pronounce someone's name and cut communications just to avoid it? And I feel like a lot of us have been through that. And then I'll say, imagine a world where respect, compassion, and effort is at the forefront of everyone's daily life. Imagine a world where we had as much love for the next person as we did our own loved ones. I wrote some things. I help you walk both sides of the fence with love. I don't know. So my whole tagline is trying to helping you embrace Australia's true multicultural identity. That's kind of the tagline. So I'm trying to do something around that. Oh, that was embarrassing.
Do you want to take two?
Oh, you okay? Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And try to do a bit of a countdown, so you might get 90 seconds.
Okay. Imagine a world where racism was non-existent. Imagine a world where you had as much compassion, care, and love for your neighbor as you did your own loved ones. My name's Adungwit Manuel, and I'm here to help you embrace Australia's true multicultural identity. I help you walk both sides of the fence through a heart-centered approach. Oh, that's all I got. I'm stuck. I need prep.
That was really good for being caught.
Oh my God, Michelle's here too. Oh gosh.
I'm really impressed you were able to pull that out with absolutely no prior warning. So well done.
And it was really exciting when you started with the emotional connection. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
really got me hooked.
Yeah,
thank you.
I like it too.
Yeah, you've definitely got the emotional hook there. The preparation, and I know you weren't expecting it tonight, but in terms of the business hook at the end, to kind of really encapsulate what your offering is and why. You've done the why you and the drawing in of the story really, really well, and then hit them at the end with the what. So you've done all the why, hit them with the what, because they're already with you by that point.
So I guess my what is I deliver workshops for staff and students on how to be better citizens and show up for each other. This is a diversity and inclusion type. It's anti-racism training, basically.
Awesome.
Consulting, bicultural consulting, and public speaking or keynote speaking.
Perfect.
Sure. That sounds good. That's a great start.
Thank you. That was a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
No.
you did well.
No pressure.
Thank you.
I can see Bobby on my screen next. Do you want to go?
Hi guys, my name is Bobby Phillips and I'm here to tell you something about laughter. Each one of us has anxiety, depression, and stress in our life, including myself. And the only way that I have been able to override that is through laughter exercises. I bring in laughter into your life so that we all can spread the power of laughter. So my tagline would be removing stress through laughter. Thank you.
That's good. Have to elaborate on that.
Yep. All right. So from a pitch perspective, Kumar?
Pitch is good here. There's some hook there, but you got to be able to elaborate on that. So there's a little bit of meat there.
Right. So what I'm trying to do here is to bring laughter to the kids as well as elders. It's better to tap into the younger kids through the power of laughter because that's genuine laughter for them. And as long as we can produce that, we can teach them how to laugh and maintain it till they come out of school, the primary. They are a bunch of kids that are going to go outside into the outside world and share that forward wherever they go. So tapping into those kids for genuine laughter, for creating a laughter exercise, by introducing the laughter exercise through the things that I'm trying to do, is something that I can leave back a legacy. And it is just going to be compounding throughout the globe. So that's where I'm going to tap the kids.
Yeah.
So the kids, the audience for your workshop? The kids are going to be in the workshop, or are you channeling
what I am trying to achieve is to introduce laughter as an exercise in all the primary schools around New South Wales. So that could be through an app, that could be through the multitude of laughter therapists who are going to go around, and through my program. So they are going to do that and introduce it to for example, like every school, they have a curriculum, like before they start the school, they all stand in line and they narrate the national anthem and things like that. So just 10 minutes of laughter exercises early in the morning. They go back to class, they enjoy the day, everyday repetition, so they know exactly when to use the laughter when they go out of the school. They're going to take a positive spin. When they go back home, the parents are much more easier. They are very genuinely happy that my kid, my son, my daughter, they have learned something new. They are laughing. Why exactly? Because I just scolded you. Why are you laughing? Teaching those things, to how to override those things during when the times of troubles are there. That is what we can, and it's so easy to teach them.
So your customers are the schools? The schools are the ones that are going to...
Yes, it's a starting point, because the customers, the elders, they are very embarrassed. I am still tapping into that. Like, for example, I do corporate sessions for team bonding exercises and things like that. But what my thought is, go directly to the grassroots level. And when they grow up, 6th grade, 7th grade, universities,
Yeah, sorry, I got that, but obviously the kids aren't going to pay for the workshop. So is
no one has to pay. The schools will be paying a little bit of.
Oh, so it's a not-for-profit. It's a social enterprise.
It's not. No. It will be. There will be profit. There will be profit. I have a a group of engineers working back in India who is developing my program, my application.
Yeah.
So the application is free downloadable. Yeah.
Yep.
It is free downloadable, and the subscription is there $1 a year. And this is
Okay,
not
so
just for
the revenue
Australia. This is
model-
going to go global.
Okay, so the revenue model isn't schools paying for the workshops. The revenue model is an app subscription.
So when the schools are paying, it could be $50 a year annual, which is
Okay.
very minimal. Okay, considering how many students are there. But if it's an individual, it's $1 a year annual subscription. And that can be, and I have people of laughter yoga teachers who are going to upload their contents into this application.
Okay.
So people can tap what they want, for which age group, what they want, and they can use this application anywhere in the globe.
So you've got two customer bases, one the schools and one kind of B2C subscription
Correct.
model on the
Correct.
app. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I think what would make it really powerful, your pitch, is starting with maybe some psychology facts, like why laughter is good. I think that'll hook people in.
Yes, 100%. Yes, I do have that complete pitch. Yes.
Yeah, if you can quote some research stats or study.
I do have that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But in the actual pitch bit, if you can put that in, that would kind of just really nail it.
Right. Great feedbacks. Thank you so much.
I believe that there would be, there'd be more to add, of course. While laughter is good, that's that's.
So it's been scientifically proved that it releases endorphins into the body. So when the endorphins come, it's a feel-good hormone. There is no way that a person can cry when a person is happy. So that itself is a trajectory. I can prove to you that I can make each one of you laughing on the screen in the first 90 seconds. And that's genuine. I can do it. So when I do that exercise, I probably might be using one of those pitch lines. I will be asking everyone to stand up, and I will be doing that just to make it a point. So when that is happening, so it has psychological advantages. It has philosophical, not psychology. It is scientifically proved, basically. Like, I don't know the complete picture at the moment, but it is scientifically proved that a genuine laughter, a fake laughter can be converted into a genuine laughter. It's a body to mind activity rather than mind to body activity. So,
one thing I could think of was, that in this modern world where we go through a lot of things, right? And that brings a lot of pressure. You can tap into that. It's like, all the work that we have taken on board and I don't know whether this makes sense, but just putting it out there, I'm just thinking out loud, is, things are pretty expensive, right? And in order to chase all those things, house is one of them, right? Everyone's dream thing to attain is a house, right? So in the rat race, in the big smoke, as we are working very hard, right? That's your main line. As we are working very hard, things get a bit hectic, and we forget, to take a bit of a time out and be able to relax. And laughter is the main medicine to relax, right? So if somehow you could tie it up in this very busy life that we have taken on board these days, we just have to take a bit of a time out and laugh, relax, and then back it up with science, whatever, facts. No, cool.
Thank you.
No worries. Who else have we got? Sahara?
Sorry, I just had unmute. So I missed last week. So I don't know if this is based on last week.
No.
But essentially, I guess at Worldwide Heroes, we want to see more women of diversity and of disadvantage in leadership positions. So we connect them with global mentors across the world, and we help them to rise to their leadership potential. So that's kind of the elevator pitch. I could go into more detail, but I guess, does that tell you enough?
Not enough. It's cool.
Not enough?
I think it's a great elevator pitch. I think for a pitch for funding, you need to introduce aspects of your business model.
Right. How we operate?
Yeah. So how you operate, what your revenue model is, and even if it's kind of not where your revenue model is today, where you're targeting your expansion, because that's essentially why you want to raise the funding.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Sorry, I have lots of suggestions, but I barely take my own, right?
It was so short, wasn't it?
No, it's just your why. I didn't hear your why, like what your inspiration was.
It was the first sentence that at Worldwide Sheroes, we want to see more women of diversity and disadvantage in positions of leadership, because they don't have the opportunities that many other women do. So what we're about is connecting them with global mentors to enable them to rise to their leadership potential and support them in their careers. We're about economic equity and inclusive leadership. And they're the two, I guess, United Nations SDGs that we are now evaluating ourselves against. So yeah, maybe I need to put all of that in as well.
Tahira, could you open that then with some basic, like UN statistics that talk about the disadvantage that women have, so that you're explaining the problem and then roll right into how you're addressing it?
Yes, actually, when I give my keynote speeches, that's exactly what I start with. I've got all the statistics. I just thought with the elevator pitch, it needed to be short, sharp, and concise. But look,
it doesn't need to be 15 seconds.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes, I can definitely add to the stats. I think they're actually very compelling.
Do you want to go for a minute or something? Do you want to try that?
I don't have the stats right in front of me. I'd have to pull them out. But essentially, I know globally, women are less than 27% in positions of leadership. That's in politics, in academia, in corporate. So less than 27% of women are in, less than 20% of leaders are women. And then when you look at women of intersectionality, that is women who are, so you've got gender, you've got color, you've got, faith groups, you've got women of disadvantage, domestic violence, all the women of disadvantage, that's much, much less. So, so it is very compelling statistic, and we are 136 years away from global equity in the world. So it's going to take us 136 years before we will see women having equality in the world. And so it's very important for women of diversity and disadvantage to be strong leaders, and that's what we do.
That's great. Thank you, Sarah.
Can I have a moment?
Yeah.
With Tahira?
Yes, please.
Just quickly, that was a good opening. There's a bridge that I felt was missing. Okay, so you stated this is the problem, the issues around women as leadership. What I want to hear in the middle is why, that you answer with, and that's why we're doing this. That's why my program looks like it looks, is because this is why these women don't have more representation, for example. So they don't have it because they don't have the networks, they don't have the training, et cetera, then explain how you're dealing with that.
I see. Yeah. The role models, the whole thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
great.
Here's the problem. Here's the amplification of that. Here's how we can fix it.
Yeah. How we're fixing it. Lovely. Okay. And then I can go a little bit into the model, or at least how we look, because we're in 36 countries. We have, I can go into all of that side of things.
Perfect. Look forward to the next version.
Yeah, the longer version.
Linda. Still muted.
Sorry, I had some background noise, so I had to mute it all along. Okay, I'll be talking more. So basically, I'm a case manager, but I'll be talking more of the counseling. I'm a registered counselor as well as a Mary Selbrun, which is my own business. So I would say I do weddings. I bring two people into holy matrimony. I'm registered by the Attorney General's Department, maintained and registered since 2009. My passion is to see two people coming together, and my passion is also for community. Hence the reason I became a counselor, as well as a Mary Selbrun. I'm in the process of completing my degree in psychology as well as social work. So I don't know how to put this around, but I might need Michelle's help and other people's help. I've got my website where I get leads. People connect to me through the website, and it's also the word of mouth. I do lots of weddings, different nationalities. So basically, people contact me. I officiate their weddings. And I had the privilege of doing the first Costco wedding, which was in Casula, which was on all the channels, so 7, 9, and 10.
Go for your pitch, Linda.
So tell me that's where I said I need
you start
assistance.
somewhere. You start somewhere, and we will try to guide you.
So
you have to be able to
I would say my name is Linda Money, and I'm an authorized Mary Selbrun, maintained and registered by the Attorney General's Department. My passion is to work with the community. Hence, I'm a Mary Selbrun as well as a counselor. And so I need guidance here.
So if you're looking for some structure, one of the ways to kind of to start pinning it, and then you can flesh it out. So start how you did with your name and kind of what you do. Then define the problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
Then go to how you're solving the problem, and then go to your, the key benefit of providing that solution to that problem.
Okay.
There are lots of different ways to cut a pitch, but once you if you can maybe hang them around those 4 elements, and then you can get a bit more creative once you're comfortable with that, and then you can make it your own. But I know it's hard to start from a blank sheet of paper.
Okay.
And the most important thing.
Go ahead, Guillermo.
And the most important thing is, why are you unique? Why do they invest in you? Right? So that's the most important thing you have to come up with. It has to be convincing.
Okay.
All right, go right.
Linda, if you want a quick hook for your opening, you could say, "Hello, my name is Linda. Last year I married 100 people." Or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
I promise you they'll listen to what you say next.
Okay. That's a good cue. Okay. Hi, my name is Linda Money. I'm an authorized Mary Selbrun, registered and maintained by the Attorney General's Department. And
I married 100 people. I made a
Guinness
Book of
Records. No, actually I've done more than 100. So I've been registered since 2009, and I have officiated close to 253 weddings. I've done the in-home, I've done outdoors, I've done the bigger ones. I've also had the privilege of officiating the wedding at Costco. And the reason I do that, my passion is to serve the community. And it is a joy to see, 2 individuals coming into the holy matrimony and becoming one. I had also the privilege of even doing the baby naming ceremonies. Am I
Can I
going in
add
the right
something?
direction?
Oh, sorry, Linda. Sorry, I thought
Yeah.
you had finished. Sorry, I'm very sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, there's nothing more emotional than a wedding or even a baby naming ceremony. So, with like the Simon Sinek, I think if you start with the emotional connection, because you go into all the, the logistics or the what
Yeah.
you're doing, I think you really need to do the why do you do it? You make families happy, or you create bonds in families, or the why. The why
Okay.
is there because
Yeah.
weddings, it's such a
So-
natural emotional
Yeah.
thing.
So
Yeah.
you're right. So this is how it's on my website. I've actually put in the contents of my the website is I've started off by my name is Linda Manny and I'm an authorized marriage celebrant. Then I've said marriage according to law in Australia, all those things, the legal side. Then I've said this, which is the emotional side, as you mentioned. I strongly believe that marriage is both natural institution and a sacred union. And then I've said the success of your wedding ceremony start with the right celebrant. I would love to be the officiant, and I will take pride in conducting your wedding ceremony. Then I've talked about two individuals coming together in holy matrimony. And it's a milestone, and I've put all those words in there. It's just the emotional aspect of it.
Fair enough.
I really like your bringing two people into one line.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
And if any one of you want to get married, you can put in the notice of intending to get married. After 1 month, you can get married.
Keep in mind, Linda, this is not a pitch to customers. This is a pitch to capital.
Yeah, I know.
Why should you invest in my business? Not, I want to be the person who conducts your wedding.
Exactly. Thank you, Ray. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. I would like to go to Jennifer now. Jennifer Garcia.
I'm here. I'm writing. I'm writing my presentation. I have so sorry for this, but I have to read. Sorry. My name is Jennifer Garcia.
Sorry, I can't hear properly.
Do you have? I can't. Go on. Just speak a bit louder. Something. It's okay. Go on. And if you have any headphone or something, but go on.
Hi. My name is Jennifer Garcia, professional photographer with 11 years of experience for capturing the most important moments in your life, time couples, your family, and wedding. Sure.
It is an introduction of your business. This is what you do.
Yes.
So once again, same thing as why you do it. So if everyone starts with the why, I think that'd be good. Like, why do you do this photography business? I like to capture the beautiful moments of people's lives, whether it's wedding or childbirth, or a newborn baby. Why do you take photos? Some of the best moments that people like to be photographed, which are weddings, right? Pictures of the kids, etc. So you like to capture these moments.
Because this moment happens one time in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So important to get a memory with a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can get capture the real and sensitive and sentimental moment. And not personal.
Yeah, the voice is not so clear, but so you start with why you do it, what you do, how you do it, why is it special Why is it unique? If you try to put a structure on that. Can others hear, Jen?
No, it's very faint for me.
Yes, a bit difficult. Jen, we'll go to others, and perhaps you could record yours. We could work on your pitch. You could share that with us. You could share that with me, WhatsApp, wherever you want to share, and we'll listen to that and we try to tailor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we will still work on that, as just keeping an eye on the time. We'll try to go on. Go to Rahul.
Right. Cool. We can straight jump into it. Well, it's evening and I'm cooking a pasta. It's nearly done. Hey, can you get some salt, please?
Oh no, I think we've run out of it.
Oh, gosh, I can't go and get one. It's a weekend. Let's jump on the pool.
Perfect idea. Let's do it.
Can you get some wine?
Oops, I think I finished the last one, honey. Can you go get some?
I can't go and get one on weekend. Well, our little one needs a cleanup. Can you change the diaper, please?
You do it. I think we've run out of diapers.
Oh my God. You haven't been planning. Well, okay. Well, my name is Anshul.
And I'm Karishma.
We are from Zoopit and we are here to solve this problem. We all are busy in our super busy life and we plan groceries, but then we forget. Sometimes we go back and buy some more and sometimes we settle for less. Well, don't plan your groceries anymore. Just Zoopit. 15 minutes or less, it will be delivered at your doorstep.
That's good. I like it. I love this. The whole beginning of it. That was very good. Michelle, anything to add in?
How do you differentiate yourself from the other grocery delivery startups?
Yes, so there are plenty of them. I've seen some in cities. So they are just in cities. What my idea is to really cover the outskirts. So we want to start from Northwest, where there is no services like that. We live in Gables in Box Hill. Coles is nearly 30 minutes drive from our place. So if you want to buy just one salt, you're literally spending 1 hour going there and coming back. So I really want to bring those services to outskirts and be hyper local about it. And that's how we are different from all the other startups.
I think you've got to nail that in your elevator pitch, the hyper local aspect.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the fact that you're servicing a community that isn't currently being serviced by the ones that are currently popping up, which I agree are the ones in more centralized.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Again, you're not doing a commercial here. You're doing a pitch to venture capitalists. You're not trying to get them to use your service. You're trying to get them to invest in your business. So you have to show them why your business is a good investment.
right.
So you're doing things, as Kumar said, you're doing things that other people aren't doing. You're filling a niche that isn't being filled.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we can add that bit in our pitch.
No, that's a very good point.
Any other feedbacks?
Yeah, that's the main point. It's like the filling in the gap nicely. I like that. As I said, I loved it. But as long as you tick all the boxes, that's the most important thing.
Sure. Cool.
Have you, just out of interest, have you done market sizing in the regions that you're planning on servicing?
Our target customers?
Well,
Yeah.
just whether whether there are enough of them.
Yes. So we have actually seen in our suburb, like there are around 1,500 houses here, right, which we want to serve. And then we want to cater the nearby suburbs as well as we go along. Like, if we get an investment and we get to expand, then we will probably be able to get more 3,000 added because Box Hill and the Ponds region has a lot of people there. And we have also seen the age group, which are nearly interested in this sort of model. I've also had an opportunity to chat with the 18-year-old girl who actually orders a packet of chips, two chips from Uber Eats and she spends $12 on it. And she doesn't do it once. She does it like too often. So so my target audience is like this. And we also have I've also seen like a lot of couples blessed with a child. So they don't really have time to go and get groceries. They forget and they just can't go and buy other stuff. So they land up using services like Uber Eats. Again, Uber Eats go to the grocery store, they pick up stuff from there, and then they come to you, which is nearly like 45 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah. And again, you're spending more because Uber is actually charging for delivery separately, and then they're making on top of what a grocery store is selling. So that's the whole idea. I hope I did answer your question about the market sizing as well.
Yeah, I think just put a few of those kind of stats into the pitch as well, because I think that's one of the natural questions that will come up from funders.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
Cool. I can add that.